Howdy folks. So I'm doing a video here. This is kind of unusual for me. It's kind of it's a political video. You may not be aware, maybe you are, of the going on right now in Canada, the SNC-Lavalin affair. The Liberal Party, specifically our Prime Minister, has been caught basically of corruption. They're trying to get in the way of a legal process that will punish an engineering firm called SNC-Lavalin, who happens to be a big donator to the Liberal Party of Canada, and they're quite strong in Quebec. They have a lot of jobs in Quebec, which is our, let's put it this way, they are the spoiled, rotten child in the family of Canada, and they tend to get their way. So Justin Trudeau has tried to get in the way of a legal process. Now, let's just examine Justin Trudeau and his background and his abilities as a leader and as a Prime Minister of Canada, and compare that to Jody-Wilson Ribbold, who was the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice at the time. Now, Justin Trudeau hasn't done anything in his life, not really. I mean, he had a lot of unearned privilege. I mean, he has a very famous name, celebrity, because of his father, who's Prime Minister of Canada, a quite popular one, who probably, controversial one to say the least. But so he's the son of this famous Prime Minister, and he hasn't really done anything for real in his life. Like, he went to university and he dropped out a couple times, took a couple of courses, year here, 1 year there. He did some teaching. He was a drama teacher for a little while, and he was like a ski instructor for a little while, and he was, he never really had any responsibility. He had all this kind of money, he had funds coming to him, he had this name, he's a handsome guy, got everything easy in his life, playboy, traveled lots, blah blah blah. And then one day some Liberal Party guy said, "Hey Justin, wouldn't it be great if you were stood up for an election and became a candidate for the Liberal Party?" So he thought, oh yeah, everybody loves me. Wouldn't it be great if I was a politician? So he did that, and he won quite easily, I think. Not because he's a good person or he's a capable leader or anything like that, but because he has great hair and a nice smile and a famous name. And he got elected. Well, not too long after that, so he was he was in government as an opposition party member for a few years. But as an opposition party member, you don't really have to do a lot. Probably not. I mean, it's not like you have formed government and your decisions really matter. You can say just about anything you want. It holds no consequence. Not really. He probably had people underneath him, part of his team. He probably had a small team to get him elected, and he's got to have administration and stuff like that. But really, I mean, we're not talking about a position here that holds a lot of authority or that holds a lot of responsibilities. I think that's the key word here, responsibilities. He's never had to really be responsible for a lot. He has to be a dad, that's true. There's responsibilities there, but so that's the type of person that he is, a dropout from university. That's probably the most he's ever really done in his life. Then he gets elected as the Prime Minister of Canada. This is the person that we elected as the Prime Minister of Canada. Yeah. So he's now the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, if the rumors are true, he's not a particularly good leader. He's the type to get mad when things don't go his way and have temper tantrums, and some Liberal backbenchers have expressed their displeasure at the way that he leads the party, which is basically blowing up when things don't happen the way he wants, and being a child, which, yeah, Of course he's a child. He's never had to be an adult. But if that's the case, then he's probably mostly feared by the people underneath him. They don't really have any loyalty to him. More than likely. So, this guy, let's put it this way, this SNC-Lavalin thing puts him in a bit of a predicament. Because if that company ends up getting charged with corruption, then they won't be able to take government contracts for the next 10 years. That's pretty serious. And that means probably their headquarters and all of their jobs in Quebec will leave. They'll probably go elsewhere, somewhere else in the world, because they're a global company. They work everywhere. So this has a direct effect on him, and it has a direct effect on the Liberal Party, because SNC-Lavalin, of course, is a big supporter of the Liberal Party. They give them a lot of money. So Justin Trudeau goes into Raybold's office and then says, hey, you're the Auditor General. You can influence things and make sure that they don't get charged. I mean, that's pretty serious. It's corruption. It's actually illegal to do that. Now, he goes to talk to Jody-Wilson Raybould. Now, I don't know much about her, but I just looked her up on Wikipedia, and she has an extensive background of positions of authority and leadership roles, and what she does matters. She's got a lot of responsibility all through her career. She has a couple of degrees. She's a lawyer. That's quite a bit better than Justin Trudeau. You know, she made it all the way through university, not once but twice, at least. She became a Crown prosecutor after that. Now, as a Crown prosecutor, I'm sure there's lots of opposition to you and what you want. So I'm sure she's a tough cookie. She has to make arguments against people who are attacking her at all times and then win at those arguments. We're talking to somebody who has to have a focused mind, leadership skills, and be able to be tough when she needs to be. After that, she became a part of the BC Treaty Commission, process advisor, and then commissioner after that. She became a counselor of the, I'm not sure how to pronounce this properly, Wewakai Council, so a position of leadership on that. So I'm reading this off a piece of paper. After that, a regional chief of the BC Assembly of First Nations. It's a big job. And then after that, after she got elected, she became the Minister of Justice and Attorney General. Big job. You know, lots of responsibility here. You have to be a leader of a lot of people who are lawyers, who know how to argue, and they know how to use process and all this other kind of stuff. You know, she has to have integrity. She has to know policy and procedure. She has to be a really good leader, and has to be able to be tough. She has to be able to see opposition and fight for that. And she's relatively young, so she's got a career ahead of her as well. And one day, in waltzes Justin Trudeau and tells her, yeah, we want you to basically sell your soul to the devil, and be totally okay with getting in the way of justice, going against everything that you've fought and done for years and years and years, and we want you to sacrifice yourself and all your future career, because if you get caught, you're basically screwed for the rest of your life. You might even go to prison, and I want you to do this on the behalf of me, myself, Justin Trudeau, because I'm such a swell guy, and I'm a great leader, and everyone who works underneath me fears me and hates me. Yeah, she's going to do that. It's a complete failure on Justin Trudeau's part of knowing his people. He actually expected to have Jody-Wilson Raybould cave to that and to basically sacrifice herself and her career and all of her integrity and everything else for him. This guy who's basically a bully. I mean, if the rumors are true, I don't know if you remember Elbowgate, but the elbow was bad, but I personally think that was accidental. He didn't actually intend to elbow that woman in the chest, in the boobs. But for sure, he definitely intended to manhandle the guy out of the room. He actually grabbed one of his people, one of his ministers, I think, and then physically forced him out of the way, pushed him, shoved him in a rage because he was all pissed off because people weren't doing what he was telling them to do at the time. He wanted to get the business on going during this meeting, and it's like herding cats sometimes, and he lost his patience, and he actually physically pushed a guy around. That's the type of man that Justin Trudeau is. He doesn't know his people. He's not a leader. And he's running our bloody country right now. Of course this happened. Of course it happened. It was inevitable for something like this to happen. So, here's my plea to Canadians. Do not vote Liberal in the 2019 election. I don't care if that means, if you're a longtime Liberal supporter and you just can't see yourself voting for anybody else, and I roll my eyes at that because, the Liberal Party has proven itself time and time again to be super corrupt. Remember the last time they got kicked out of government? That was a sponsorship scandal. Sponsorship scandal. Remember that? Again, super corrupt people. It's in their culture to be this way. And I don't think the Liberal Party will ever learn because it's always the same people that end up running the Liberal Party. They may have a new face, being Justin Trudeau, this new face, but it's the same old Liberal Party and always will be. And I don't think they will ever learn until they're completely destroyed, the party. Like 1 seat, 2 seats. Until it's completely destroyed, I don't think it will ever change. But if you're a Liberal Party voter and you just cannot see yourself voting for anybody else other than the Liberals, don't vote. That's what I'm asking you to do. Don't vote. Don't vote for anybody else either. Just don't vote. And let the Liberal Party get kicked out of office because they seriously need to be. Our Prime Minister of Canada has has a scandal list as long as our arms, and he's just not fit to be a Prime Minister. He's not fit to be a leader, period. So before you write an X on that ballot, just think about it. Do you want this man-child, university dropout, bully to be the Prime Minister of Canada after all you've seen? No. Just no.